Hey guys, and welcome to the Geeks and Greeks podcast. The podcast focuses mostly on the NFL, but we also do talk about other sports such as the NBA and MLB, as well as video games and what else is going on in our lives. Step into the conversation of three friends who love sports and who love doing this. You can find us on YouTube, as well as Spotify, Amazon, and Apple podcast platforms, and we're also on Facebook, all with the same moniker, Geeks and Greeks. Thanks for stopping by. We hope you guys enjoy the show. Fans celebrating that Saquon might actually get the MVP this year.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. He's got to get the MVP. Like, do you see that game? Yeah. Like, my God, he's on track to put up, like, what, 2,000, 2,100 yards this year?
He's set to break the all-time single-season rushing record at this point.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And that jump over the guy is going to be on his highlight reel forever.
I don't know if it was hyperbole or not. But I heard a guy say that he landed a Nike deal just because of that jump. And now he's got a Nike endorsement for it.
I'm surprised Saquon wouldn't have had one beforehand.
I don't know. Like I said, it might have just been hyperbole when they were talking about it on the radio.
I mean, maybe, but you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, if he honestly, I hope he does. Because it'd be the first non-quarterback to win since 2012.
Yeah. I mean,
when Adrian Peterson was like 5 yards short of breaking the single-season rushing record.
Didn't they take him out early in the last game, too?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like he just barely missed it.
Oh, it was ridiculous. But, yeah, I mean, I hope they do, too, because you don't see, like, especially with the devaluing of the position that everyone loves talking about, like, it would be wonderful to see a running back do it. And honestly, I think the fact that both Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are in the talk for MVP disqualifies both of them. Like, you only get one guy per team. You can't have two MVP candidates on one team. Neither one of them are the MVP because you don't know how good they'd be without the other one, you know?
It's really
that's an interesting thought.
I mean, yeah, fair. It's also funny because I keep seeing these pop up of just like, the Giants and the Titans are both a combined like 5-20 or whatever their record would be, and now the teams that their running backs are on are, two of the best in the league. It's almost like elite running backs matter. I'm like, they do. But to be fair, if they were both still on those teams would still suck.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because, like, I expected the Giants to be better than they were. And I honestly think that's because of Saquon. Like, I think he still gave them this illusion of a team that might be able to make it if they just kind of, pull themselves up by their bootstraps. But no, they wouldn't beat a high school team these days.
I mean, Tennessee might not either, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move along to QB Survivor.
Woo!
Woo!
Pete, who are you putting on the chopping block?
Ooh, I get to go first. I gotta find the page that he was on. I wasn't expecting to go first. I am picking Justin Herbert. So he had 147 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Sure, there was a guy on the list with the interception, but you won the game. But it's just not good enough of an effort, in my opinion, to stay on quarterback Survivor Island.
All right. Adam, who are you putting on the chopping block?
So I'm actually going to put up Lamar Jackson.
All right.
I mean, he had 237 yards, 64% completion, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. but I mean, he took some bad sacks. He lost the game. I mean, didn't lose because of him, but I mean, at the same time, we're getting down to splitting hairs with some people.
I mean,
he didn't have a great game, and it was tough because Philly's been playing really, really well these last 8 weeks. Like, they've played really, really well, and I don't know. I expected more out of Baltimore this week.
Honestly, I agree with you. I expected more out of them. And to say they didn't lose the game because of Lamar Jackson's discounting what those sacks really did to them. Because at least one of those sacks knocked them in, like, almost out of field goal range, which caused them to miss a field goal. And they lost by, 5 points? And they missed 2 field goals and an extra point in that game. So, and if he had been able to turn any of those into touchdowns, he would have won that game. I think they kind of did lose because of him, at least because of those sacks. I kind of think it might have been more the Eagles' defense, but, that's just me.
And, I mean, it's hard to tell, obviously. I also think that Justin Tucker apparently just forgot how to kick field goals.
Yeah.
In a matter of less than a season, he went from the best kicker in the league to the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And it's crazy. I've never seen a kicker fall off that quickly before.
Yeah.
I didn't know a kicker could get the yips, but man, if he didn't.
For sure.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me that the kicker can get the yips. I mean, as much as people give kickers shit, it's such a high-pressure position.
It is.
100%.
Yeah.
90% of the time when you're coming in, you got a lot of the game riding on you on one play.
Mm.
And the tiniest tweak of your foot can screw it all up.
Yeah. I honestly kind of equate the kicker in the NFL to the closer in baseball. The smallest mistake can cost your team the game, and you're usually brought in the situations where it requires you to be the clutchest possible.
Yeah. And if you screw it up, everyone just looks at you and goes, "You had one job."
It's not that hard.
Right? Quarterback misses 10 passes in a game. You miss one kick, and you're the enemy.
Yeah.
I am going to put Matt Stafford on the chopping block.
He wasn't even on my radar.
Yeah, he was purely because of pass percentage and QB rating. I gave a pass to Joe Burrow and his interception because the rest of his game was amazing. And, sorry. Yeah.
What was Stafford's QBR this week?
58.3.
See, now I had somebody on my list that had a worse QBR than him.
Oh,
And
sorry.
had a worse game.
His QBR is 62.4.
Yeah.
But his pass percentage is 58.3.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes had a worse game.
We don't talk about the great and powerful Patrick Mahomes.
See, you just didn't want to put him up. That's exactly what it is.
No,
See, I had Garmin pegged for picking Joe Burrow so much that I put Joe Burrow as my second choice because I figured that interception would put him up. I think, honestly, I was going to give my vote to Joe Burrow when Tom picked him. That's how much I was banking on it because it's time he's off the island. I mean, we can't keep pretending that Cincinnati's good because they're just not.
I mean, you can make the same argument with Kansas City this year.
Yeah.
They're not as good as their record shows.
Right, but at least they have a record that they can argue they're good. Cincinnati doesn't even have a record to argue with.
Sure.
But Joe Burrow had a pass of 73.7 for 309 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a QBR of 75.6. Even with the interception, he's still number 4 on my list.
I can see why. I mean, he did have a pretty decent game. It's just the Bengals suck.
But one person that I could not give a pass to was Justin Herbert, who did not score a single touchdown. The only touchdown the Chargers scored in the entire game was a pick 6 by Tariq Still. Now, I'm sorry. My vote 100% is Justin Herbert.
That's a fair vote. I'm actually going to vote Matt Stafford out this week.
Looks like we're going to RNGesus because I was going to vote for Lamar Jackson.
Oh, man.
Matthew Stafford wasn't even on my radar, and Lamar Jackson is on my list.
Okay, I gotta blow the dust off of RNGesus.
All right.
All right, so and spin.
I'll put it up on the screen, man. Share it.
Oh, I don't have that.
You know, share screen right next to your leave button.
Oh, it's gone crazy. Oh, I spun
Oh no!
too hard.
His PC's gonna crash again. Flashing back to 3 months ago.
Oh wow, it's flipping out. Oh, there it goes. It's slowing down. Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. There we go.
You know what? It was time.
Yeah.
Oh, heck.
I mean, it's kind of weird to think we have two quarterbacks on teams that are like losing records. Because I'm pretty sure that both the Chargers and Cincinnati have losing records.
Yeah. I mean, it's shocking that Cincinnati is this bad. You know, Joe Burrow.
I'm not that surprised because they took some hits to their defense. They lost some really key defensive players this offseason. And they lost Joe Mixon. You lost a really good running back, too.
That's fair. I keep forgetting he's not on their team anymore.
Yeah, and they didn't really replace him.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, a big part of it. And, yeah, I mean, you still have Chase, you still have T. Higgins, you still have Joe Burrow, you still have a decent offensive line, but losing Jesse Bates in the secondary really hurt him really bad.
Yeah.
All right.
And he's a Fort Wayne kid, too.
Oh, there you go.
And with that, Justin Herbert is eliminated.
He didn't belong here!
And then there were 7. Moving along to NFL winners and losers, last week we had Adam chose Texans to win over Jacksonville. Sure did, 23-20, not bad. Pete chose the Jets to win over the Seahawks. Unfortunately, the Jets lost 26-21. Jets played really good for like the first 20 minutes and then kind of trailed off there.
They was getting close at the end, I thought. I was only watching the ticker, but...
I mean, we only lost by 5, so it wasn't that bad of a game.
No.
Yeah.
None of the games were. There's only 3 games that won by double digits this week. But anyways, I chose the Steelers to win against Cincinnati. 44-38. Neck and neck all the way to the second quarter. Now for the funny part. Last week, Adam kind of waffled on Raiders to lose to Kansas City or Falcons to lose to the Chargers. Turns out it didn't matter because both of those happened.
I'm tired of being right.
But Adam's final choice, Falcons lose to Chargers. 17-13. Then Pete chose the Colts to lose to New England. How could you?
Sorry, man. At least I was wrong.
Colts won 25-24 in a serious nail biter.
Yeah.
All the way to the last seconds of the game, man. I was nervous. And then I took the Raiders to lose to Kansas City in a game that was way closer than it should have been.
Dude, that's what the Chiefs do, man.
It is, yeah.
That's part of why I don't think that Pat Mahomes is... I'm surprised he's still on this list. He hasn't had very good games this year, and they barely squeak out the victory.
Yeah. And with Week 13 in the books, we have Adam with a commanding lead at 18. I am trailing behind at 15, and then Pete at 13.
Yeah, didn't move forward at all last week. I'm gonna make it up this week, boys.
There you go.
I mean, it's possible.
It is. Well, I mean, not all the way. Okay. Might be able to catch Tom if he doesn't score any points.
I mean, it's possible. Tom takes all the easy picks, so I doubt it.
Even with easy picks, I haven't crossed the 500 line yet.
How's that Cleveland Cleveland losing the Pittsburgh pick?
Oh, that
go
was
for
such bull crap.
That was one of the greatest things ever.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's what I learned what a trap game was. All right, Adam, who is your Week 14 win?
So my Week 14 win is going to be... I'm picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to beat the Las Vegas Raiders. Or as they should be known, the Sin City Raiders.
Correct.
I agree. That is awesome.
Let's get it started with 20 people that watch our show.
All right, Pete, who is your Week 14 winner?
All right. So I apparently didn't learn anything from last week. So I am going for only close games. And I apparently also decided to pick an underdog again. So I'm picking Green Bay to beat Detroit. Green Bay to beat Detroit on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, you didn't learn jack shit.
Yep.
I don't have... Oh, there they are. Oh, they're in your losers list. Okay, that's why I couldn't find them. Give me a second.
I mean, Green Bay are a bunch of losers, so...
Yeah.
Did I already pick Green Bay?
No, this was on my predictions for you to pick Packers to lose to.
Oh. Wait a minute. I did pick... I'm thinking this backwards. I'm an idiot. All right, can I change my pick?
Oh, absolutely.
Because that is who I picked as my losers.
Oh, okay.
Dumbass.
I was like, wow, you're okay.
All right. You want me to tell you my winner, or you just want to come back to me for my winner during the loser round?
No, go ahead. Who's your winner?
Sorry. All right, so this one's a bit of a safer pick than that, but it is still a 3.5 point line on ESPN. I am picking Kansas City to beat the Los Angeles Chargers. So it's honestly, I'm nervous about that pick, but it's a close game. They're at home. It's prime time. Kansas City.
You could probably just watch the last 5 minutes of the game, and that's about all you need.
I get all my heart palpitations in that 1 5-minute span.
Now, I have to admit, for as much grief as we give the Chiefs for never winning past double-digit margins, they do win. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, I've never said they weren't winning. I'm just saying that their 10-1 record is not reflecting on how good that team actually is.
11-1 now.
And whatever. I mean, I still think. I mean, honestly, at this point, I think they're closer to an 8-5 team than they are to 11-1.
I'm just waiting for the straw to fall to break the camel's back, because they're gonna implode. I don't think they're getting there. I was so gung ho that they were gonna win the Super Bowl this year, and it's like they just haven't improved. They've been good enough to win. I hope it's not this week, because I'm picking them to win. But I think they're gonna implode, and they're not going anywhere in the playoffs.
My choice for a win this week, I went with a homer pick, but it's not my home.
All right.
I went with the Eagles to win over Carolina this week.
Yeah. Well, now I know I'm not catching you, because there's one surefire win right there.
Is it one of those things where it's like, now do you feel like torn? On the loose, like you gain ground on top.
No. Philadelphia Eagles are always more important than any kind of fantasy game I'm playing.
Not if there was money on the line.
That's why I don't bet on the Eagles.
Heck. All right, Adam, who is your Week 14 loser?
So, my Week 14 loser, I'm picking the Jacksonville Jaguars to lose to the Titans because they're now on their backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And, I mean, they're already talking about benching Lawrence for the rest of the season anyway. So, I mean, this team has been hot garbage since Week 3. I think especially losing Trevor Lawrence this week, I think they're just done.
Yeah. I mean, ESPN Fantasy Football still has him projected at like 16 points, which is just ridiculous. Because it's like, I don't think he's even playing after that hit he took. Like,
I think I'm pretty sure they even said they're not gonna reevaluate him until after this week.
That's the last I heard. Yeah.
So he's not playing this week, which he shouldn't, honestly.
Right.
No, not when you take a hit like that.
Yeah.
Pete, do you want to talk about the Packers, or should we just skip you?
So, I mean, everything I said still applies to that game. Like, it is a 3-point spread, and I'm picking the favorites, not the underdogs. That's the one thing I did learn from last week. And that's why I was like, I guess I didn't learn enough because I picked the Packers, and then I was like, I'm an idiot. I don't know why I thought they were switched, but yeah, we'll see. Detroit's definitely got the better team, so.
And it would not be a Geeks and Greeks podcast if there were not crossover. And I chose to crossover with Pete. I am taking the Chargers to lose to Kansas City.
There we go.
Everything I said before, yeah, they almost never win by double digits, but they do win, and it's like the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. It's like, you're the worst 11-1 team there is, but I am 11-1.
Right?
I love that movie. But you have heard of me.
Heck. Alright, so that moves us along to a new segment of the show we call the Elimination Postmortem. That's where we take a look at the teams that have mathematically been eliminated from the playoffs in 2024 and discuss what they did wrong, what they did right. Could there have been some changes to help them along, or was this just a sinking ship right out the harbor? Starting off with the New England Patriots, currently at 3-10. This year's draft, they took Javon Baker, Layden Robinson, Caden Wallace, Jalen Polk, and first round at number 3, they took Drake May, who played 8 games, did okay. 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, longest pass was 40 yards, and a QBR of 87, which there are teams that would kill for a rookie quarterback to pull off a CBR of 87. 5 re-signs, 8 players from waivers, and 10 players got hit by IR or just outright out. Unfortunately, Jaquan Jackson, their wide receiver, was put on IR in August. And Jalen Hurd retired because he kept getting confused for Jalen Hurts.
I actually thought that's the name you said. I was like, wait a minute, they had a Jalen Hurts too?
Yeah, this is one of those teams where, I don't think anything went wrong. We expected this team to be bad. They're in the middle of a rebuild, and it's just, it is what it is. They had some they've only won 3 games, but the 3 games they won, they were pretty impressive wins because they were over good teams. Well, at least one of them was, because they beat the Bengals week 1. And no one saw that coming. Like, everyone thought the Bengals were going to be one of the best teams in the league. Mm-hmm. And then they upset the Bengals week 1. You beat the Jets at home, and then you also beat the Bears in Chicago. And, but they blew Chicago out. It was 19-3. So,
yeah.
It was a good game. Drake May has played well for a rookie. He's shown that he's a very competent quarterback, and it's a rebuild. So, we kind of expected this, and, give them 100 years, I think they'll be at least a 500 team if they keep going in this direction. I think they've got good coaching. They don't look terrible. Like, they don't look like a dumpster fire of a team. They just look like a young team that's in the middle of a rebuild.
Yeah,
So.
and that's part of it. Like, this is also the first year for the coach. I know he's been with the team since 2019, but, like, it's his first year as head coach. He's coming up from linebackers coach, and I'm not going to lie, that's a pretty big jump. Like, usually you see someone spend some time at a coordinator level before they get to head coaching level. So, I'm sure there's been a lot of learning curve with that. Them coming out and winning out of the gate is pretty impressive. I think they kind of say it takes like 3 years for like a full personnel shift to really gel. And like that's what this feels like. This just feels like 1 year of year 1 of a 3-year process. And yeah, if they keep going on this trajectory in their division, they could be winning their division in 3 years. I could see that.
All right. Next on the list, we have the Raiders sitting at 2-10, having only won against the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. They drafted Brock Bowers at number 13, which he's a tight end. But man, if that guy's name has not come up like a million times whenever they play.
I just want to hear Paul Heyman say his name one time. Just like introduce him into the game. Just like Brock Bowers.
Dude, that'd be so awesome.
It really would.
And the fact that they got, a win over Baltimore, who's a good team.
Yeah.
Again, this is one of those teams where I can't say they're in a rebuild, but they should be, because this team isn't going anywhere. Ownership needs to just accept that they're rebuilding, and I think they kind of have. I don't think Antonio Pierce is a good coach. I think they need a new head coach at this point. Granted, he's only been there for a couple of years, and I don't normally like when teams don't give guys a chance, at least 3 years, because that's how long it takes to really get your system and get the guys you need to fit your system and stuff. But I don't know. From what we've seen the last couple of years, I just don't think Pierce is cut out to be a head coach. I think he's more of like coordinator or linebackers coach or position coach than he is a head coach, which it's just the way some guys just aren't meant to be head coaches. It is what it is. And I don't know, this whole roster, they've got some good individual players, but as a team, it's bad. And Oakland's kind of been, or Sin City's been kind of a joke since really, at least the last 5-6 years. They haven't been good.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like they've been a joke since they moved to Vegas.
Yeah.
And the whole Gruden fiasco. But if you look at Brock Bowers' numbers, like he's putting up like Travis Kelce, Gronk level numbers. Like he's got 84 receptions for 884 yards, and like that talent is going to be really wasted on this team. Like if they don't turn around fast, like they're going to burn him out because he's their number one catcher, receiver. He's by far the next highest number of receptions is 59 on the team, if I'm looking at this right. Like, that's insane. Your tight end should not be your only receiver. And, like, they're going to injure him, and his career is going to be short, and it's going to suck. Or if they actually get a team around him, he might be, the next best tight end in the league.
I mean, he's already a top 5 tight end in the league at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's the crazy part about that, is he's already a top 5 tight end. Top 10 minimum.
He's my fantasy football tight end.
He's had 113 targets, 84 receptions, and 43 first downs and 4 touchdowns.
I mean, that's hell of an effort, but on a 2-10 team with you lost 9 games last season, so like you're already past your number of losses from last season. Like, you're just gonna waste your player on this,
Yeah.
Best player on the worst team.
When you go into the season with your quarterbacks being Aiden O'Connell and Uncle Rico, like, you can't really expect to succeed.
Yeah.
And Minshew's out for the rest of the season. He was put on IR a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, they traded Devontae Adams, who was supposed to be their best receiver. He's been terrible this season. Like, he got traded to the Jets, and right now he's sitting at 49 receptions, 553 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Like, that's his stats for the year. Like, Adams is done. Bowers was the best receiver they have. And they've got a couple other guys that are kind of breaking out in the receiving core. But this, I don't know where they go, to be honest with you. That's one of the hard things with football, is that you need so many guys to fully complete your team. And the hard cap just hinders it so much. Yeah. And they just... The problem is it's one of those things. I don't think they're afraid to spend money. The problem is they can't. I don't think they're good at identifying who they need to spend money on. Because Max Crosby is also a beast on the defensive side. And there was rumors he might get traded this offseason as well, or this season.
Yeah, and I think it's really boiling down to that. Is they keep trading players out like that, they're never going to get a locker room to gel. You bring people in, you shuffle people out like that. Like, you've got to let the team play together for a while.
Yeah. I mean, it's as awesome as it was that it's great that they got Brock Bowers. The problem is now you need to get a quarterback. And they're just really not any available at this point.
Yeah.
There's not really any good quarterbacks coming in the draft this year. I mean, Shedeur Sanders might be one of the higher ranked ones. But, like, you don't have, like, the crop of quarterbacks we had last year.
I bet Deshaun Watson's going to be on the trading block.
I don't think you want to pay him that much money.
To be as terrible as he was this year.
I mean, honestly, if I had to choose between rolling with Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew or having Deshaun Watson, I just roll with Minshew and O'Connell.
Right?
Like, nah, I'm good. I'll save my cap money and pay somebody else.
I would say Minshew with a messed up collarbone is still better than all that package deal involved.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, not only that, there's some, like, because next year, Deshaun Watson, remember, this is also fully guaranteed. He counts $72.9 million against the cap next year.
Jesus.
Yeah. I'm sorry, if that's my cap hit for next season, I'll roll with Minshew and O'Connell.
Why did they make that deal? I don't get it. It's like, if I was trading for Andrew Luck in his 3rd year of his career, like, I can see giving him that money. And, like, I'm picking Andrew Luck a little bit because he's got that, at least from my perspective, got that, like, very good boy persona to him, where he doesn't have any off the field antics, and he's, an upstanding member of society with it, and he put up shit ton numbers for a really long time. But, like, Deshaun Watson was none of those things, and that's why I'm pointing the difference out here. Like, why did you pay that guy so much when he wasn't good and he had all this off the field problems. Like, it's so baffling to me.
I mean, I push back that he wasn't good. He was a really good quarterback, but before he had all of his issues, before he had all the off the field issues, he was a top 10 quarterback in the league. It's borderline top 5 some years. Like, they were really, really good for a few years there. But I mean, once they had the problem is you had all the off the field issues, and he's never been the same since.
Yeah.
Like I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. He either led the league or was really came in second to leading the league in passing yards a couple seasons. Like he was a good quarterback.
I mean, I'm looking at his stats right now, and 2020 COVID year, he had 4,800 yards. So that was a lot. And he had 4,100 yards in 2018. But he hasn't had a 1,000-yard season since 2020. And I just don't understand why you sign all that money to a guy who's hasn't been putting up the numbers for you, hasn't been playing 16, 17 games a season. I don't know. He's got two seasons north of 4,000 yards. That's it.
I mean, I wouldn't sign him to that much money. I mean, like I said, that amount of money is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody in the NFL. I mean, maybe Pat Mahomes would be worth that much money, but even then, that's it counts. It hurts your cap so much. Even Pat Mahomes would be hard to sign that kind of money.
Yeah. The crazy thing is this 4,800 yard season, they were 4-12. It's the team still sucked.
This deal just screams someone's last week at the company. It's like, I'm making this amazing deal. All right, later.
Yeah.
Right? But that wouldn't surprise me.
That brings us to the third and final team that's been eliminated from the playoff, the New York Giants, currently sitting at 2-10, having only won against the Cleveland Browns and the Seattle Seahawks. Their big draft was Malik Neighbors at number 6. They re-signed 4 players, got 4 more off waivers, got rid of Daniel Jones in Week 10, and put 11 players out for the season or on IR, including Theo Johnson, their 4th-round draft pick this year, and Gunnar Olszewski to a groin injury.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those, again, where it kind of comes back to we expected this team to be bad, and it really, there's 2 main things with this team. One, they let Saquon go for basically nothing, and 2, they signed Daniel Jones a couple years ago to that insanely stupid contract. That, you can boil this down to those 2 decisions right there. And I'm honestly shocked that they released Jones mid-season.
Yeah.
I thought he'd at least finish the year out. But I guess, I mean, if you're going to get him off to not count towards the cap for next year, you might as well just go ahead and just do it. And just get it over with, I guess. Problem is, again, you don't have a quarterback. You don't even have a running back. Tyrone Tracy is a rookie this year. I mean, he's having a decent season right now, but, I mean, he's no Saquon Barkley. I don't know, it's one of those things where this team, I just feel also this organization is a terribly run organization.
Yeah.
Outside of the 2 absolute random Super Bowl runs that Eli Manning took them on, they've never been a very relevant team. They've always been a 500 or worse team every year. And even the 2 years they won the Super Bowl, they were a wild card team that got in at 9-7. So it's they've never been a very good team. And like I said, they had 2 random Cinderella Super Bowl runs, and other than that, they haven't done anything in the last 25 years.
Yeah, I think they've got to get rid of their head coach. And like Malik Neighbors is the only player on this team. There's no one else on this team that's worth keeping. Every player can go, every coach can go. They really need to just sell the whole team. And bring Malik Neighbors back because you want to have big plays, but honestly, it's another situation where his talent is going to be completely wasted on this team. Their head coach they haven't had a winning season since 2022, which was his first year. And they went 6-11 last year. They're 2-10 this year. Like, they're absolutely awful, and this coach is not getting any better. He's getting worse. And they need to fire the coach. They need to let the new coach bring in a new quarterback. Need to bring in a new defensive core, a new offensive line, a new running back, and new assistant coaches. Like, they need a whole new team, I think.
Yeah, I think that I think they need not only just to fire the coach, I think the GM needs to go too.
Yeah.
The GM absolutely needs to go. If you have such a failure of a contract for your quarterback that you release him in the middle of it.
Yeah. I mean, and think about it. How great would that look? New GM, let him pick a new head coach, let him pick a new quarterback. Whole new face of your franchise. You turn over a new leaf, you're a completely new team. And you can, with Malik Neighbors, give somebody throwing to him, give an offensive line to block it, and a defense that can actually stop somebody on third down. You might have a team together. But that's a lot of pieces you're missing.
Right. I mean, the saddest part of this whole thing is that when you look at their record for this year, besides the 2 wins, the team they've come closest to beating has been Dallas. They lost 20-15 and then 27-20. Other than that, the only other game that was close was Washington at 21-18.
It's always in the division.
Blown out by everybody.
Always in the division.
All right.
And Carolina. Carolina only beat them by 3 as well. But again, worst team in the league.
Right.
So a little outside the topic of discussion, but would you say that this season of Giants football would work in favor of the argument of Eli Manning going into the Hall of Fame?
No.
Why?
It's like you said, they went from Super Bowl contenders to 2-10.
But they weren't. But the problem is they weren't contenders. Other than they weren't even looked at as contenders those 2 seasons they won. They were a wild card team that got on a hot streak.
Yeah.
Honestly, Eli going into the Hall of Fame is just Peyton Manning's second Hall of Fame induction. I don't see why people think that he's a legitimate Hall of Famer. Yes, he won 2 Super Bowls. All right, there's plenty of guys that have won 2 Super Bowls that are not in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, but against Tom Brady. Both of them were against Tom Brady.
So really, just makes a. So really, what the argument. So really, what it's saying is Tom Brady is so amazing he can put a mediocre quarterback in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, that's what you're saying. That is what you're kind of saying. Because and that's the thing. Another thing is, I don't think it's a fair comparison because so much of the team is different, right? To say that Eli Manning should go in the Hall of Fame because the Giants suck now is to say that Michael Strahan did nothing and Odell Beckham Jr. wasn't even a part of that team.
Justin Tuck wasn't there.
Yeah, Justin Tuck wasn't there.
Cruz.
Yeah, Victor Cruz.
You didn't have the miraculous catch on the helmet.
Right, yeah. And then
that was an amazing catch.
Even Eli Manning talks about that catch and they're like, "Oh, what do you feel about, the Odell one-handed catch and the helmet catch?" And he's like, "Yeah, I hate both of those passes." And they're like, "Why?" They're so famous. He's like, "You don't realize that I was the guy throwing that ball, and it was a really bad pass, and those guys just made me look good." And he knows it. He knows it.
I mean, yes, he won the 2 Super Bowls against Tom Brady, and I'll give him credit for that. But that doesn't make you a Hall of Famer. You were never the entire time he was around, and he played. Yes, he played well in New York. He did play well, but he was never looked at as one of the best players in the league. And to me, if you're not one of the best players in the league in your entire career, how are you a Hall of Famer? The Hall of Famer is supposed to be for the best players in the league to go into, not for the mediocre that had 2 Super Bowl runs.
Ouch.
Now, granted, again, him beating Tom Brady says more about Tom Brady than Peyton Manning.
Eli Manning, right?
Eli Manning. Sorry, my bad.
Why do you
Peyton
hate
Manning
on
light. Because, like I said, I mean, I honestly expect the bust to be like it's going to be like a Peyton Manning bust because they're just giving it to him because Peyton's his brother. It's not because he's a Hall of Famer. It's because Peyton was that good. He's related to Peyton, and he beat Tom Brady, which just speaks to how good Peyton and Brady were. I know he's not. I don't think he's been retired long enough. But like, as much as I hate Ben Roethlisberger, he's got a much better argument for a Hall of Fame bid than Eli Manning does.
I don't know. I mean, the 2 Super Bowls, he's Super Bowl MVP both times. That's a better argument than Ben Roethlisberger. I would take Eli over Ben Roethlisberger, is what I'm getting at. Roethlisberger could never get back. He won, his rookie season? And he could never
2.
get... Did he win 2? I thought he won just the 1.
No, he won his rookie or second season against the Seahawks, and they also beat Arizona when he had that really, really good pass to Santonio Holmes in the back corner of the end zone. It was on a dime.
He just retired.
Was that one against the Cardinals?
Yeah, because it was Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
I wanted the Cardinals winning, because I wanted Kurt Warner to get a Super Bowl in Arizona too. Because it was the fourth quarter, there was down to 2 minutes, and the Cardinals hit a slant to Fitzgerald, and he took it 70 yards for a touchdown. And I mean, I thought that was game. And then Roethlisberger came out, and they marched down the field, and he had that just absolute perfect throw to Santonio Holmes in the back corner that he caught toe tapping, and that was the game. And it was a really good game.
Yeah. But I mean, Santonio Holmes got the MVP. Roethlisberger's got 2 Super Bowl rings, but he doesn't have 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
I mean, I'd argue that Eli shouldn't have the Super Bowl MVPs either, because I mean, that helmet catch should have been that MVP. Because without that catch, there's no win in that game.
Yeah, all right.
That was a terrible pass.
All right.
It tells you that because I don't remember who it was that caught the ball, because I never did much of anything else after that.
Well, I guess at the end of the day, what we're saying is quarterbacks are super important. And when your quarterback runs for it and tries to slide and takes an arm bar to the face and sustains a concussion, you might feel a certain way about that. Well, that's what happened this week when Azeez Al-Shaair leveled Trevor Lawrence, which caused a sideline clearing brawl that ended with Azeez Al-Shaair and Jerry Jones being ejected from the game. Azeez said that he feels bad for what he did, and he understands how the Jacksonville was kind of mad about it. And the Texans coach, D'Amico Ryan, was very compassionate and diplomatic. Oh, sorry, I misread that. What I meant to say was he stuck his foot in his mouth so far he could taste his shorts. And blamed Trevor Lawrence for the hits, saying that he slid late, blamed quarterbacks as a whole for taking advantage of the rules that protect the quarterback, and said that Jacksonville overreacted to their quarterback sustaining a game-ending concussion.
Maybe a season-ending concussion.
I hope not.
I hope not too, but it could be.
And proceeded to reference Kenny Pickett's fake slide and Patrick Mahomes' fake out of bounds.
I mean, the problem is, here's the thing, though. D'Amico's right. This is 100% on Trevor Lawrence as to why he got hurt.
I don't know if I agree with that. He got hit well after he went into that slide.
No, he didn't. There was 3 steps and hit. That speed,
3 steps.
Adjust for it.
No, 3 steps is enough to adjust. I'm sorry. 3 steps is absolutely enough to adjust your body. He should have pulled up. He should have known better.
Because then everyone's going to say, "Well, why didn't you tackle the quarterback?" They're going to get on no matter what.
No. No, they won't. Not anymore. That may have been true 5 years ago, but it's not true now.
They talk about it all the time, how no one ever tackles the quarterback, because, again, they've run out so much. Like, I'm sorry, don't feel bad for Lawrence. He did it to himself. Bad play, he slid late, he put himself in this position.
See, I completely disagree with you. I think that there was more than enough time for him to pull up, and it absolutely was a penalty. And don't they actually have a penalty now for when quarterbacks do a fake slide?
They never call it. They were supposed to also start calling for when running backs lower their helmet to go into the defense, too. They never call it. So, I mean, they might have these rules in the book. The problem is they don't enforce it. They only enforce it when the defense does it. And they overprotect these quarterbacks.
And also...
as much as we obviously don't like seeing people get hurt, but this is football, dude. You're going to get hit. And when you put yourself in a bad position like Trevor Lawrence did, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think the problem is if you keep taking that mentality, the NFL is just going to remove the quarterback run from the game. And they're going to say quarterbacks can't scramble, and they can't run, and you can't sack. And they're just going to take that out of the game. That's what they'll end up doing if we don't have a way to slide. If you don't have a way of protecting the quarterback, because they're too protective. You can slide. You have to just protect yourself when you do it. If you would have gone down back first, he would have been perfectly fine. Probably would have been fine, but it doesn't change the fact that the defender had more than enough time to pull up. And when you see a guy giving himself up, hitting him is it's a bad call. It's a bad look. Everything about it is bad. And sure, maybe Trevor Lawrence could have done some things better, but that doesn't mean it wasn't the wrong thing for the Texan to do.
I disagree. I think you finished the play out. You're already committed to it. You might as well just go ahead and finish it out.
The part that got me was when Al-Shaair had his arm up and drove the forearm into his face. And I'm like, that's a little aggressive.
Yeah, you looked like Will Ospreay hitting the hidden blade in AEW, man. It was definitely a dirty hit. I don't know how you don't see that.
Not a dirty hit at all.
It was definitely a dirty hit.
Not a chance.
Listen, he didn't do it for dirty reasons, but it was a dirty hit.
According to the NFL, it was a dirty hit because Al-Shaair has been suspended for 3 games for repeated violations of the rules intended to protect the health and safety of the players and promote sportsmanship.
And that's why Will Ospreay wrestles and doesn't play football.
No, because he doesn't play football because he wouldn't last.
I know, I'm kidding, man. Jesus.
He'd get broken in half.
He would. He'd get like 2 seconds.
All right.
I know, and yes, he got a 3-game suspension, and they're going to appeal it. We'll see what happens. I think a 3-game suspension's over the top because I don't know, because he hasn't been suspended all season, and this is his first offense with this. And you're going to immediately go to a 3-game suspension?
Yeah, but they probably did that in anticipation of the appeal, so they can get 2.
It's because they're lumping in the hit on Trevor Lawrence and the sideline brawl as 2 separate offenses, and that's what they're saying.
The Jaguars started the sideline brawl, not him.
But he participated in it, according to them. Yeah, they saying he participated in it, so he's in violation of the rules.
Yeah, they said he also had a couple late hits, on sidelines as well, and they took that into account. And it's like, really, you're going to take a couple of late hits off the sideline and put it into this?
No,
this is the problem with the NFL is they're not consistent with their own rules.
Yeah,
and that's also what D'Amico Ryan said as well. He's like, look, it's one thing for a suspension, but at least be consistent with what your actual rules are and stick to them. Don't just make up your own rules as you go.
Now, if they had given him a verbal warning when he did those late hits, say, do it again and you're busted, then I could see them pulling the repeated offense card. But to look up crap after the fact to try to pile on, that's not.
Well, had he been fined for it? Because if he had been fined for it, that's your warning. That's your warning right there. If you're fined for it.
This game.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, then, yeah, all right, then they have a leg to stand on there.
Yeah.
So he was he was flagged and fined $11,000 last time.
Players get that for having the wrong shoes on. Come on.
And then apparently he also punched the Chicago Bears in one of their games too.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
During a scuffle that happened with a bunch of other players, he hit somebody and they fined him for it.
Dude, I can't wait for him to show up in AEW, man. He sounds like he's going to be an awesome pro wrestler. Punching people in the face with helmets on. It's just like, how more pro wrestling could you be?
So it's funny because it's one of these things where I feel it's funny because when you look at the players that are on the committee that does these fines and suspensions, they're all ex-players.
Yeah.
Like, because John Runyon, who was an Eagles tackle,
Yep, I remember John Runyon,
is the guy that brought the suspension down. They also have on this thing. They've also got. Let's see. I was looking at this. They've got like other players that are on here as well, and they are gonna absolutely 100% appeal this as well.
100%.
So it's crazy that the rules committee and everything is nothing but a bunch of ex-players that hit people way worse than this.
right?
I was just going to say, wasn't Runyon's a dirty player? I mean, not
No.
a dirty player.
No,
He
he
was
an
not
offensive
dirty.
tackle.
He was an offensive tackle. He was good.
Oh, okay. I must be thinking of someone else then, because
Yeah, you're
I have it in
absolutely
my
thinking
head.
of somebody else.
Yeah.
definitely. All right,
He went on.
Oh, sorry.
I was just say he went on to like politics in New Jersey. He became like a governor or something. Not governor. Couldn't have been mayor. Maybe. I don't know.
Moving on to the next story. It is a sad day in Michigan as Coach Campbell has been fired. Calm down, Lion fans. I'm not talking about that Coach Collins. I'm talking about Michigan's offensive coordinator, Kirk Campbell. This happens 2 days after the Michigan won against Ohio State 13-10, in which Michigan, who was a 21-point underdog, won and decided to plant a flag in the midfield of Ohio State Field.
Oh.
This culminated in a team-wide brawl in which both teams were fined $100,000 for the melee by the Big Ten. So, thoughts on planting the flag at the opposing team's home field?
All right, so I gotta say, I'm not a college football guy, so I don't know enough about this. Is planting the flag a regular thing that they do in college football, or is this something out of the blue?
So from when I used to watch college football all the time, no one ever did this. This is something new within the last probably 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
So this is a newer thing that they just started doing. And honestly, I've got absolutely no problem with Ohio State responding the way they did.
Neither do I.
To me, it's the exact same thing as when I think it was back in 2001. San Francisco was playing Dallas in Dallas, and T.O. caught a touchdown and went and spiked the football and the star in the middle the first time.
Yeah.
And no one did anything the first time because no one was expecting it. He went to do it a second time, and they said no. And you had a benches clearing brawl basically of the entire team. Just came over and took him out. And it's the same thing to me. You're not going to disrespect me on my home field like that when you just won. Absolutely not.
Right.
And there's so many people that are saying that Ohio State is coached terribly and the coach should have had his players under control. I'm like, no, they absolutely did the right thing. Screw you. You're not going to come in here and disrespect me.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like, this is a game about sportsmanship. Like, you didn't just conquer a castle. Like, this is still our field when it's all said and done. Like, those are still our logos that you're covering up and trampling on. Like, it's one thing to beat me, but you should shake my hand, look me in the eye, and say good game afterwards. You shouldn't take your flag and plant it on top of my symbol. And I completely agree. Like, of course I agree with the fines, and of course I agree with any suspensions, because fighting it's not something you should do. But, like, I don't know if I really would have been all that excited about making that fine. And I don't know if I would have fined them as much as I would have fined Michigan. I think I might have fined Michigan a little bit more for all the instigation.
And, like, there's someone on my Facebook feed that's a huge Michigan fan, and me and him were getting into it, and he's like, and he basically said that, again, he said that kind of what I said earlier. He was saying how Ohio State is so poorly coached, they have no discipline, and I'm like, neither does Michigan.
Yeah, there were two.
Learn how to
teams
win
in
like a
that
champion,
fight.
like you supposedly are.
Right.
Jim Harbaugh wouldn't have stood for this shit.
I did absolutely love that one of the commentators goes, someone needs to get that flag away from that man or something bad's going to happen. And then an Ohio State kid grabs the flag and, like, rips it down, and then the fight just reopens up, like, immediately on cue as he says it.
It's like, oh, called it.
Yeah.
Because they let him just continue to march around the field with the damn flag. It was like, how are you doing that? It's like you're trying to calm the fight down, and then you're still going to let this guy hype everyone back up and taunt them all back with the flag, and you're going to blame Ohio as much as you're blaming that kid? Like, no.
No, man. Like, I mean, it's embarrassing that they won the game, that they even won the game to begin with, because Michigan has been such garbage this season.
Yeah.
But, like, again, you're not going to keep rubbing the salt in the wounds.
Right.
Like, I have absolutely no problem with this, and Ohio State actually did the right thing with when they just basically said no and threw them off their field.
Right. I mean, you have to remember what these things mean to these kids, right? Because most of these kids aren't going to make it to the NFL. Most of these kids, these are the only 4 years they're going to play football in their entire lives. And this got them out of poverty. A lot of these kids, they got there on scholarships. There's no way they were going to go to these colleges without a football scholarship. There's no way they would have been able to afford it. It's their ticket to a better life, and you're disrespecting that right in front of them. Like, of course you're going to get them pissed off. Like, their college means everything to them right now. It is the only thing that matters to them right now. Like, I don't understand Michigan allowing it to happen, the coaches allowing that to happen. That's the one that, like, the coaches shouldn't have let their players get out of control, if that's what you want to talk about. It's the Michigan coaches that had the problem there.
And honestly, I honestly think this is probably by far the biggest rivalry in college football right now, is Ohio State Michigan. It has been for decades. It has been forever. And, I mean, we've got other big rivalries, but, I mean, and also it's going to be regional. You know, living around Ohio and Michigan and all that, you know, it's huge here for us. You hear about it all the time, Ohio State, Michigan for football. Like, we've got other rivalries, like in basketball and other things, but, like, it's nothing else is going to top that around here. Like, I mean, out down south, you know, you got Georgia and Alabama, you got Auburn and Alabama, you've got Oklahoma and Texas. You've got other ones in different regions in different areas of the country. But around here, that's the college football rivalry, is Ohio State, Michigan. It's what everybody talks about. Everybody watches it, no matter what team you're a fan of, what college you're a fan of. Everybody watches Michigan, Ohio State every single year. It's the Big Ten's single biggest game of the season. And to act like that shows more about your lack of character than Ohio State's lack of character.
Yeah.
So to close out the topic, I am going to put on my tinfoil hat and throw a crazy conspiracy theory at you. I saw the coach of Ohio State as the brawl was ensuing, and the sheriff basically telling him to get his team under control, and he was basically like, no, don't, stop. And
that's what I would have been like. I probably would have been in the brawl, I'm not going to lie.
And it's my opinion that he if it wasn't started on its own, which it very well could have, that he could have kind of goaded the team into starting the fight just so they didn't take that kind of disrespect lying down.
Yeah.
And I have no basis for this accusation. I just think it's hilarious, and it's a theory that fits the presented facts.
It's not wrong. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you.
With that, I am going to do an abbreviated trivia section with a single question.
Ooh, single question.
These 6 players have 2 things in common. It's an amazing Venn diagram, if you will. TJ Houshmandzadeh, Josh Brown, Matt Castle, Brandon Fields, Justin Forsett, and Pat McAfee. Can you guess either of the things that these 6 players have in common? Double points if you get both of them.
I don't even know who some of these players are.
Don't remember TJ Houshmandzadeh?
No, I do. I don't remember Justin Forsett.
I remember the name.
There's a couple other guys in there that I don't recognize either. Did they all show up in WWE?
No, I don't think so. Because I've never seen TJ Houshmandzadeh
Matt
in
Castle
WWE.
never showed up.
No, Matt Castle's never shown up at WWE.
They all played New England at one point. No, Pat McAfee didn't play New England. I'm pretty sure Houshmandzadeh did, though.
Yeah, I think he did.
Oh, yeah.
They all went to college.
I was gonna say they were all playing football in like 2020 or 2007 ish.
Whether it be college or pros.
Because McAfee was not playing in the NFL in 2007.
No. Because it was 09, 10, something like that.
I think it was
Yeah, I guess I'm going too far.
Well, you know what? Pete is, well, we're kind of dancing around one of them.
Oh,
Do you want me to just go ahead and throw it out?
Yeah, I got nothing.
I got nothing either. Yeah.
All right. All of these men were 7th round draft picks. And all of these men are Pro Bowlers. And
Matt
I thought it was
Castle
cool.
Was a Pro Bowler?
Yeah.
And
It had to have been the year that Brady got hurt.
I would have said.
Yeah, because he was drafted 05. So.
I would have said multiple time Pro Bowler.
It's possible. If they made it once, I was just scouring the 7th round.
Because he went off and played.
He went to Kansas City.
Yeah.
But he wasn't good when he was the full-time starter. I'm pretty sure he lost his starting job when he was the full-time starter. I mean, maybe not, but I thought so.
Yeah, just the one. But it was when he was on Kansas City.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess you learn something new every day.
Yeah. 3,100 yards, 27 TDs. It's not that great of a season.
Say, that's not that good of a season. He had to have been like an injury replacement or a Super Bowl replacement. There's no way he got voted in.
Yeah.
It's interesting, at least. All right. But after that, I think that's going to be about it for us on this episode. Is there anything else you guys want to add, or?
No, I'm good.
I want to say welcome back to Andrew Luck, the new Stanford's football GM, and to Jameis Winston. I too pray that the Lord will deliver me from pick sixes.
Oh yeah, and I also want to say happy belated birthday to Tom.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday, Tom.
Thank you, thank you.
Paging Dr. Boy, Dr. Birthday Boy.
I should have got that one for the soundboard.
Oh, that was great. I love that one. But, alright guys, that'll be it for this episode. We hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for listening. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and YouTube, and Amazon and Apple Podcast platforms at Geeks and Greeks. Thanks for watching, everyone. We hope the coin toss of life is ever in your favor.
Go Birds.
Peace.